Welcome back to AnimeCons TV. My name is Doug Wilder. I know it's been a while since we've had a chance to do some episodes, partially because there haven't been too many conventions, but things are starting to get rolling again, and we have a new episode out with you. We finally got to talk to our friend Katy Hunt, who has been running the Convention Confessional podcast, which is a one that you should listen to if you haven't already. So I got a chance to talk with her, and take a look. Let us know what you think. Hey everybody, it's been a while. We're back at AnimeCons TV, and today we're talking with one of our good friends of the pod, someone that is well overdue for getting on this, and someone that's been a lot more regular about posting convention updates and podcast episodes than us these days. It's our friend Katy Hunt from the Convention Confessional podcast, as well as many other places. How you doing, Katy?
I'm good. How are you, Doug?
I'm doing very well. So, first off, Katy, one thing I like to try and ask everyone is, what was your first convention?
My first convention was actually Anime Boston 2004. I consider myself a cosplayer before that, but then I found out conventions existed in 2003, but I didn't end up going in 2003 because I decided having a part in a really crappy musical was a better idea. What a mistake. So 2004 was my official first convention.
Okay, so you did cosplay before that, so did you do any events, or is it just more like...
It was more like Halloween convention, kind of like I dressed up as anime characters at like Halloween high school parties and stuff, but it was like, yeah. I never went as like your random like I'm a cowboy or I'm just a witch. Like I was literally a character from an anime, and people would just be like, "What are you dressed as?" I'm like, yeah.
What are you wearing?
What are you wearing?
All right. So you've been going to conventions for a while. You've probably seen a bunch. Have you seen stuff you wish more conventions would do, or maybe some conventions would do less? Like any trends in one direction or the other?
I mean, yeah, I've been going to conventions since 2004, and I mean the evolution of conventions over the last 20 almost years, like 18 to 20ish years, has been drastic. It's felt like, as far as like inclusion and things and like fixing mistakes that some things might have. Some conventions evolve a lot better than other conventions. But as far as like things I would like to see more of, I mean, I'm always down for more like cosplay events of some kind, like inclusion of some kind. Even though it's like a big part of the convention, it's just like my bread and butter personally. And I feel like, having different like not events oriented so much, but maybe just like some more panels that are like accepted that are, helping newer cosplayers out or helping people like, make masquerade skits if they'd like to get into that. Just in that aspect of things. But honestly, as far as like conventions go, like I said, I feel like they've all kind of improved upon like inclusivity and, hygiene and and like making sure that the people that attend are taken care of. I feel like that's a big thing now at conventions, because before it was just you went, you had fun, and now a lot of times you go to conventions and you see like there's more food carts for people, or there's more like dining options, or they pick convention centers because there's more hotel space, or there's more like places in the area people can go to take care of themselves, kind of thing. So that's nice.
Yeah. You mentioned the evolution part, and I think that's really interesting because conventions definitely have evolved in the time. Like, as I started cons not that long before you, but just seeing like how much of that has been a factor and people just figure things out. And it also feels like the conventions that were very stubborn and kind of refused to change, like, this is the way we are doing this because this is the way we've always done it, are the conventions that either fell apart or had a lot bigger decline in attendance and stuff like that because you had to evolve. You had to really realize that. So that is a cat.
Like, not now, Wash. No, exactly. That's what I mean. It's just, like people that evolve with their people, like, and that's what you need to do at conventions. It's like you're always a growing, working machine. To make things work, you have to move with the times.
Yeah. The other thing I will say, and I am thinking of one specific convention, but I'm not going to name them because I'm too nice. Is there's certain conventions where they get known for a certain part of fandom or a certain thing, and they almost refuse to embrace that, and it gets really frustrating because it's like if you're getting known for this thing and it's a good thing, why not just go all in? And yes, you want to have other programming, but own it. This is, what makes your event great. And I think, acknowledging that's going to get even more people in there and more people interested.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, if like your thing is something that you're niche and you're known for it and you're good at it, do what you're good at. Like, don't go and like, try things. Like, don't not try to do like new things. But if you're something that you're really good at, keep that as your focus. Because if you stray out too much, and this goes for anything in life, not just conventions, if you stray out too far away from it, you're gonna lose people, you're going to lose steam, and you're going to, just mess everything up. Spread yourself too thin, I think is the term we're looking for.
Yeah. So for those of people who haven't been lucky enough to listen to Convention Confessional yet, what is that podcast? Can you give us a little bit of a preview? Or?
Well, first of all, if you're not listening to it, shame on you, because not to toot my own horn, toot. I don't know. It's just it came to me, honestly. It's one of those things that I wish I had started almost another year ago, back when the pandemic had first happened. One, because I would have caught a hell of a lot more people at home and they would have had no excuse but to be on it. But two, what I love about it is like, I've listened to a lot of like podcasts that are like cosplay podcasts or convention podcasts, but my focus in mine is just the stories. I love people have all these different stories, especially within our friends group, as we well know, because you've guested on a few times. We've had several guests from the Anime TV's Con podcast on the show. But we've all been in the convention game for so long. It's just like, you don't have normal experiences where you like, I went to a convention, I saw things, and then I came home. That's not it. Like, those aren't the stories no one cares about. People want the drama. They want the tea. They want like the shit storms. They want, and we have those stories because we've been doing this for so long. So it kind of started as a way for me to like, reconnect with my friends. But now I've expanded out and I've actually found people who have listened and just found it on their own that have come onto the show to be like, I have a story. I'm like, I'm here and I'm ready. It's a safe space. It's a safe space to share your stories about good, bad, and ugly convention experiences.
So you mentioned a little bit of the drama and and everything. Mm-hmm. What do you think like are kind of the elements of a good convention story, aside from shouldn't do that ever again?
Which are also really good stories. Like, I am now this old and I will never do this again. Anything that makes a story, like I said, is basically not like your typical story. Not like I went to a panel and it was awesome. I'm like, great. Don't care. Like, I want to hear about, I feel like I love the drama. You can't help but love the drama stories. I mean, come on. Like, if you've got a really good drama story and you're just sitting there like, what? But I also love a good feel-good story. Like, I can't help it. I love people that like do like the really good charity thing or like help somebody out, or a little suspense is good, getting trapped in an elevator and not knowing if you're going to die as it plummets in the Marriott in Atlanta, Georgia. I've had several good stories on there, bad roommate stories, people in restrooms, and that's where I'll end it. But you get the idea, where you're trapped, Doug. The PTSD is real. Like, but I feel like, again, anything that's not your typical, just like I went and did A and B thing, like, it makes a good story. Everything's good entertainment. If it's not your story and someone's willing to share a story, it's good entertainment.
Well, and like, I feel like just from my own convention experience, like the bad, like there's definitely some like really good moments that I've had that I've enjoyed, but those bad moments, I think part of being able to talk about them is kind of like, if you can tell the story and laugh about it, it does kind of help you move on from it.
Oh, 100%.
So many people I've encountered, they're based something on one bad experience, and it could be a very legitimate bad experience, but they kind of base that whole thing of like, well, I hate to always bring this up, but 2008 Anime Boston, and the infamous one, that LineCon, as people always call it, and that's their only basis for Anime Boston. It's like, guys, that was over 10 years ago now.
We have to let it go.
Yeah, if that is your only reason to refuse to go to this con because of that experience, when it's like, especially I see this with people that are local to the convention. It's like, you could commute in, you don't even have to get a hotel room. You could go to the con, you could still see this, and it's like, nope, it was bad bad in 2008. I'm never going to go back. And it's just, it feels like you're shooting yourself in the foot when you could have that good time. And again, I think a lot of people, have those moments where it's just like, you know what, this crazy thing happened, I learned from it, and now I know how to do things better. I mean, cosplayers are another one, I would say, where something didn't work. You tried to put it together, it fell apart on you, or you waited to the last minute, like, well, that was stupid. Now I know I'm not going to wait to the last minute. Or I'm not gonna spirit gum something to my head and have it bleed.
I'm not gonna put a pick in my hair and rip all the hair out of the front of my head.
Exactly.
I have a bald spot for 2 years. I love you, Jess. But yeah, I mean, it's just, and like I said, first, the reason it's called Convention Confessional is because it's kind of like, I'm taking you to church. It's like, go ahead, tell me all about it. Let's get it all out of the way. It's like, confess, like, let's hear it. Like, what's good experiences, bad experiences. And I mean, like I said, I've had my fair share of bad experiences, some of which I don't actually talk about on the podcast because I can't for certain reasons. We all know that. Like a plethora of like we could have like a whole year's worth if we wanted to, Doug, but like, again, it's just, I feel like it's just nice to have like a safe space where people can be like, let me just share this ridiculous story. And then usually by the end of it, we're laughing about it going, wow, that was bad. I was like, yeah, but see, you feel better about talking about it. And it's like, yeah, it helps. I'm like, there you go. We have moved on.
Yeah. Absolve your convention sins.
Yeah, right. Go eat your Pocky. Yeah. Say your 7, I don't know, deadly sins. I'll talk to you later.
Instead of Hail Marys, it's Hail Mangas.
Yeah, Hail Mangas. Go read the good book. What's the good book? I don't know, just pick one.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, I loved it. I love the podcast. I love having everybody on there. And like I said, it's just good, like, reconnecting people. And now that it's actually been on for a year, the fan base has grown on it. So it's kind of nice. People are actually kind of reaching out and being like, hi, I've been listening this whole year. Can I come on your show? I'm like, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, please come on my show. I hate talking to myself.
One of the things I was going to ask, though, is we talk about like good convention moments. Do you have like a crowning moment of awesome, or like one like best moment for you out of a convention that you remember, like, or one that just sticks out, like maybe not number one, but high on the list?
I mean, I have a couple. So I've been hosting conventions since about 2007. And probably in that time, I've had probably 3 really big moments. One big moment would be the first convention that I ever hosted, because it was kind of like a it was kind of like a I can do it moment, because there was a time that I would try to think that I was funny. Doug, I thought I was funny. And the people that I was entertaining to were not the right crowd of people. And they really tore me down and were just like, no, you should never host anything. Like, you're not funny. And I was like, cool. Awesome. Good to know. Like, I'm not funny. Got it. So when it was presented to me to host my first convention, it was like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? Like, I was already told that I am no good at this. And that first time that you host and all of a sudden it's just like a room falls in love with you. And you're like, okay, why did I listen to people? Obviously I was just not for that crowd of people. These are my people. Hello, my people. So definitely that first time I hosted was awesome.
Just for clarification, hosting a masquerade?
Yeah, masquerade. Yeah, absolutely. I would say my next one, a couple of years ago, I got accepted to work for Anime Boston, as you know, as the assistant MC. And again, it was like that. It was almost having that first moment all over again, because I knew what I was doing. I knew that I could do it. I worked a couple of conventions in that many years before we got to Anime Boston. But I mean, you're going into a new crowd of people, and that's terrifying. It's a new crowd of people. They don't know you. Nobody likes new mom. No, like no one wants new mom. Like absolutely not. And you've got like 30 seconds to catch people. And if you don't get them in that 30 seconds, you're pretty much going to fight for it. And I remember, because I've gone back and watched the video now of my first time hosting Anime Boston, and I get introduced and I walked out and it was like crickets. And I stood there for a second and I'm just like, oh no, I fucked up. But then it was okay, because again, like those 30 seconds of back, people like, okay, we accept it. And it's just like the rush that you get from it. It was awesome. And like I said, we all won each other over. We're all good. And then like I think one of my best moments for me personally wasn't a hosting thing, actually. It's kind of like, I love cosplaying. I like dressing up as different characters. I do it for me because I love to cosplay, but I love doing it for other people. I'm sure you can understand that, because, you know, being a member of the 501st, like you do it for other people, like seeing the joy on a child's face or like a person's face because you're just dressed up as a character. And I've had several moments like that throughout the years of cosplaying, being different characters. But my number one happened a few years ago when Hamilton was big, and I'd made my Hamilton costume. And I went to a convention, and I had worn it a couple times in the weekend. And then you get to the end of the week and you're like, okay, I can't wear this costume anymore. Like, I'm going to go wear my normal clothes for the day, be comfortable, whatever. And there was a girl that walked through, and she was dressed as Angelica. And really cute pink dress. And she walked by and she recognized me, and she was like, oh my gosh, you were the Hamilton this weekend. I was like, I was. And she's like, oh, I couldn't make it yesterday, and I wore my costume yesterday. And she's like, and I was so hoping to get a picture with you. And I was not dressed up at all, like not at all, Doug. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, I'm sorry. And she's like, that's okay, like it's no big deal, I'm still having a good time. And she walks away from my dealer's room table, and I'm sitting there and I'm just staring across the room, and my sister's next to me, and she goes, you're going to change, aren't you? I'm like, yes, I am. And I got up from the table. I run upstairs. I put like full contacts, full makeup, full like wig, everything in probably like 15 minutes, right? It was like the best quick change of my life. I come downstairs, and I mean, again, she's in a big pink dress. Not going to be hard to find. Not a big convention. Like, come downstairs, and I found her in one like the little alcove, just like sitting with her friends, like, you know, off to the side. And I just lean against the door frame, and I was just like, I heard someone here was helpless. And she looks at me and she starts crying and just thanking me. Like, her friends are like, can we get pictures of you? I'm like, yeah, let's go get pictures. Like, did a whole photo shoot with this girl. And it's just like, I knew in that moment that I had like made this girl's whole convention just like by doing one thing, stabbing myself in the eye, putting contacts back in. Like, it's worth it. And it was worth it to me. And it's like I said, just moments like that. And and like other times, like I did host club in my earlier years, and Mary, I think she's also on AB staff now, but her son, youngest son, he dressed up as Honey years and years and years ago, and I was Tamaki. And I mean, he was a little kid, so it's like, you know, one of my first conventions, and I'm talking to him. I made his day, and like his mother has never let me forget that. She's like, I can't even tell you what it meant to him that you like gave him that attention, and like you were that character for him. And I'm just like, you know, that's what it's about for me. It's just, you know, making people happy, entertaining. Like, those are my big moments.
That was good. You just kind of mentioning playing off, one of the things that you made me think about is kind of that I can do this moment. Those moments kind of sneak up on you sometimes. Like, I'm not a cosplayer. I'm not going to host a masquerade anytime soon, but I do like panels. And the moment when I realized like everyone's like in that room, especially the first couple times, like, wait, they're here to see me. And then halfway through, it's like, they came to see this thing and they're not leaving. They're actually interested. And like a little bit of it is, you know, trade secret of you fake it till you make it, and you're going to make mistakes and you just kind of own it. But there is so much stuff like that where you get just a experience and you realize that how much you've evolved because of the work you've done in the convention community.
Yeah.
Like whatever angle it is, it can be as a costumer, as a panelist, or just a fan that goes to more events and like has found the type of events they like to do. And there's that little bit, almost that ping of, oh, I wish I could find myself from 5 years ago and shake them to not do these things because now I do these things and they're awesome. But it's like, but you learn, you get better at it. And,
right.
so.
Right. It's definitely, like I said, it's definitely like that little bit of like serotonin, like that happens with it. And you're like, okay, this is why I do it.
Yeah.
Like you have like a really dead tired, you work your butt off weekend, but there's always that serotonin moment. You're like, right, this is why I haven't slept. Yes.
And then Monday afternoon hits and you've gone home, you've gotten away from everything, and the endorphins just are like, now this is why Postcon depression happens.
Hello, darkness, my
So I
old
just start
friend.
planning for the next one.
Get away from me, Hall & Oates.
But you didn't bring up, of course, Anime Boston, which is coming up very soon, like less than 2 months at this point.
I'm so excited! It's my first convention back in like 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I've only done one since everything went crazy.
Since the panoramic happened, yeah.
Panoramic happened.
The panoramic happened.
Yeah, but I mean, we're both going to be there, and I understand you've got some stuff in the works there.
I do. So I'll be doing my regular hosting gig for Masquerade, and I'll be at Cosplay Headquarters all weekend helping out with them. But I got a panel accepted to Anime Boston this year, and we'll be doing Convention Confessional live.
Oh boy!
I know.
You're gonna get.
It's like, what would Convention Confessional live entail? It's like, I don't want to say because I don't want to ruin the surprise, but I just encourage everyone to please show up for it and be prepared.
Have your stories ready.
Yeah, have your notes ready.
We're both on staff. I do want to plug Anime Boston a little bit. We do have a lot of openings on staff this year, so if you're thinking about trying out for staff, we haven't gotten past the virtual staff fairs, but if you know anybody on staff, or just use the contact form, if there's a position that you see that you're curious about, use the contact form, reach out, ask people. We have a deadline this year of April 4th for people to apply, but we would really like to see more people come on this year, especially with so much time away. And the thing, I think you'll agree with me here, the thing we kind of say about staff is you get to have a very different kind of fun. You will still have fun, but it'll be a very different style.
It's family.
Yeah.
Everyone's there to help everybody, and it's just a good time. Like you get to help people and do things, and if you're lucky, you get to be like in like something that you're really passionate about too, which they're really good about putting you in something that you were like really like there for. It's not just kind of like stuck around kind of thing.
Yeah. And they can also, I would also say, if you're really curious about it, depending on what, there's a lot of places to grow on staff, or just your own personal growth experiences. You'll get a lot out of it that way too. So we're just going to plug it a little bit here, just because we both know how much we've all grown. And I'm sure Pat D, if he was here, he'd be echoing this too. I mean, he helped start the convention, so maybe worked out for him. Got to know a couple people here and there.
He's like in the corner over here somewhere, like, yes, like, Pat, we know. You got it.
Yeah.
No, staffing is so much fun. Like going to the convention is fun, but again, been going to conventions for years, and I got to say, staffing a convention is just like a whole different level of fun. Like it's such a good time. It's like Anime Boston staff is great. I highly recommend signing up for it and starting off with that convention, because you'll work other conventions and go, man, this convention, this one's got it going on.
Yeah. We're a little spoiled sometimes.
Yeah, we're very spoiled.
Okay, so we plugged Anime Boston, but of course we got to go back to you. Where can people find out what you're up to, and also the Convention Confessional podcast?
You can listen to Convention Confessional on all your favorite podcast platforms, as well as over on YouTube. I put the videos up every week as well, because you can have a closed caption option over there. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook as Convention Confessional, Twitter as Convention Conf1, so CONF1, because your name can only be so long. And we do actually have a website as well, and you can find us if you Google it, conventionconfessional.com. And I do my best to update over there, at least the guests that we've had. It's been a few minutes, but I plan on going in there and updating, how websites go. Try.
Well, Katie, thank you for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thanks for having me, Doug. Yay!
And I'll just say, don't forget to follow us on AnimeCons TV. We're on all the social media platforms that I'm not going to list all of us. As we are slowly getting back to more and more conventions, we're hopefully going to have more and more convention reports and things to talk about. But if you've got
stories,
yep, and if you've got stuff to talk about, please don't hesitate to send us an email, write us a note. We even have our voicemail line, which I'm sure in editing is going to go maybe right down here or something. And let us know what you've been up to. We like hearing from everyone, and we're looking forward to getting back in the swing of things as things hopefully keep moving in this right direction. So be smart, be safe, and we hope to see you guys soon.
See you later.
Thank you again, Katie.